Okay, so yesterday evening when I left the shop, I felt half defeated and half victorious. Victorious because I've managed to successfully remake the gaskets for the thing, but defeated because the intake valves are still leaking air, and no matter how much I screw around with them, looks like nothing's gonna fix that. So, what I've decided, and I have no idea if it's gonna work, and I might get crucified in the comment section for doing it. I have some of this stuff, okay? It's JB Weld. It's exceptionally strong metal adhesive. I've decided to take the valves out and use a very thin sheet of flexoid jointing material, same material that I use for the gaskets but thinner, and attach an actual sealing surface to the valve and reassemble it that way. I've looked up the material specs for flexoid, and it seems to be that the highest operating temperature you can carry is 120 degrees Celsius. I don't quite expect especially the intake valves to get that hot, because the intake valves constantly have cold air from the outside coming in. I'm not gonna worry with the exhaust valves for the time being. Hopefully they will work the way they are. If not, we're gonna have to think of something else. So for starters, I'm just gonna concentrate on intake valves. I have no idea if it's gonna work, but you're more than welcome to come along for the ride. So this is supposed to be the valve. We think. What's the problem here is, okay. Don't forget that I have lapped all surfaces perfectly smooth, okay? Both the valve and the sealing surface on this retainer, and they're still not sealing very well at all. What I suspect is the problem lies, where I suspect the problem lies, is that this spring right here is simply not heavy enough to push a solid metal valve completely closed against another solid metal surface. Now, in the car engine, you have really beefy springs that just pull those valves shut with a lot of force. This is a tiniest little spring, and in a way it makes sense why they would use such a small spring, is because, you know, the lighter the spring is, the less vacuum the compressor has to draw before it opens, before the valve opens. So yes, you know, this makes perfect sense why the spring is so soft, but at the same time it is causing me a lot of grief because this spring is not strong enough to create a metal to metal bond that is airtight. So what I'm hoping is this material, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this, maybe a little bit, maybe a slightly thicker piece. This material has some give to it, okay? So I hope that once it comes against the journal, it's actually going to be able to conform to any irregularities in the surface and provide a good positive seal. Whether it's gonna work or not, I've got no idea, but we'll try. Now, like I said, flexoid is good until 120 degrees Celsius. JB Weld should be good to that temperature, at least to that temperature too. It's extremely strong, and you know, I've heard of people gluing engine blocks together with this stuff, so hopefully it's gonna work, and hopefully these two tubes are not past their shelf life yet. So let's have a look. The valves are gonna get a quick shot of brake cleaner one more time, just to make sure I've removed any oil and any excess dirt. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scuff them up with some quite coarse sandpaper, so the glue has got more surface area to grab onto. Okay, this is some 220 grit paper. This is much rougher than the 1000, no, it was 2000, this is much rougher than the 2000 grit paper I used to smooth them out. So now I want the exact opposite to happen. I want it to be really, well, I don't want it to be really rough, but I wanted to rough it up somewhat. Okay, reconsidering what material to use. I'm actually going to use the offcuts 0.4 millimeter material as opposed to 0.15. Hopefully this gives a bit more give, sort of compression, and I don't know, a thicker washer, a thicker gasket seems like should make a better seal. I'm probably wrong, but what can you do? Okay, now what I want to do is I don't want to really touch. I've scuffed these up a little bit, but I don't really want to touch them any more than I have to. So I'm going to be holding them with tweezers from now on, just to make sure I don't put any oil from my hands and fingers onto them. And they need to have another clean to get rid of all grinding dust and any oil that I might have put on them. Okay, a clean strip of paper so I have somewhere to mix the JB Weld together. And it's a 1-to-1 type epoxy. One part is the hardener and one part is the resin itself. And it has metal particles inside as well. That's why it's so black inside. So, but it's supposed to be really strong, so that's how. Great. Okay. So I think I'll hold it. So. Just put 2 blobs of material of the epoxy on the material itself, and get it. Spread it out a little bit. Now, fingers crossed, let's hope this works. Oops, my hands. There. Okay, I'm gonna leave this aside, and I'll probably not put any weight on it because everything is gonna get glued to the place. I don't want a lot of pressure on this. I seem to have a good squeeze out of glue all around the joint, which means that the complete joint should be filled with glue. So let's put this somewhere safe. Now, I'm not gonna touch that for 24 hours, but I'm not gonna throw this away, because when I come back to here tomorrow evening, if this is hardened, so have the valves on the gasket, and I can give them a test. So with that out the way, whilst I'm waiting for it to set, I've got some other jobs to take care of. Okay, first of the jobs I need to take care of is to make a gasket for this surface right there. This is where the oil filler spout mounts on, and it just needs a gasket to make sure it does not leak oil. Okay, let's see how it fits. Okay, it looks like I need to widen the inside hole just a tiny bit. That's no problem. Still making it slightly. And that should do the trick just fine. Okay guys, guess what? Camera died without even letting me know that it's gonna die. So for the last half an hour, I was talking to myself. A bit embarrassing, but anyway. What I've done is I finished making the gasket for this. I've reattached the filling spout. I've taken the cylinders back off one more time. I've released a little bit of pressure on the connecting rod joint where it joins the crank, just because they were a little bit stiff to start with. They're still a little bit stiff, but they're gonna wear in. Okay, and given the whole thing a couple of shots of oil where I think it's necessary. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fill up the crankcase back up with oil. So hopefully all the gaskets hold. Okay. Using a full 5-liter can to fill this little spout is a bit unwieldy, so what I found is this. It's just a cap of the brake cleaner can, and I'm gonna fill up, pour the oil in this, and pour the oil inside. It's gonna be a little bit easier. Okay, this oil is green. Is that normal? I've never seen a green oil before. Oh well. And of course I'm making a mess of it, but what can you do? Watching a man slowly pour oil into a crankcase doesn't make for very good television, does it? Okay, first cap in. Let's have a look inside. Yep, there's certainly oil in the crankcase. Let's repeat. At this point you might be thinking, why the hell doesn't it just pour the oil in there? It's so much easier. And you're right. And I have no idea, but I'm gonna keep doing it through here. Okay. The oil is very near the top level. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit more because I've cleaned every surface off, so it's gonna need some extra to recoat everything. So just a little bit more. And that should be plenty. And by the way, no, I was not able to get replacement piston rings for this project. I've tried, but basically everything I could find was either too big or too small, and nobody makes genuine parts for this. That's unsurprising. I've inquired with a couple of piston ring manufacturing companies if they would be willing to make me a couple of them, but they never got back to me. So what can you do? Okay, the cylinders should be attached. Seems to be pretty good. I'll spin it a bit, spin it around some more. Just because. Okay, I think that's about it for this video. I just checked, the JB weld is starting to set, so I'm probably gonna be back here, if not tomorrow, then the day after tomorrow, and see if that fixes the problem. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.